We'll bring you details of that story subsequently. Let's turn now to Ogun State, where government have been advised to give necessary financial and logistics support to enable the prosecution of cases of sexual violence against women in Nigeria. Some lawyers and rights activists made the call in Abeokuta.
It has been confirmed that failure of survivors of sexual violence to report cases of abuse in Nigeria has contributed to lack of adequate data on the number of persons that have been violated in a year. This was made known by participants at a program organized by Edford Foundation for Justice for Survivors of Sexual Violence. They say many cases of abuse and violation happened in different parts of the country, but due to lack of exposure and understanding, victims will refuse to speak or supply needed evidence against the offenders.
To educate young girls about their rights after they have been victims of or survivors of sexual-based violence. So this is very essential because we go to court and see some of these cases happen in court, but we realize that if about 10 cases are brought to court, maybe one of them gets to the stage where the perpetrator is convicted.
While identifying some of the challenges, the participants say Nigerians need more awareness and want the government to increase funding and support for those working on getting justice for the survivors.
Number one challenge, that's the survivors. They don't speak out, so we have to encourage them to speak out. The other thing is the resources, such as home. At times we have survivors, we don't have anywhere to put them. At times we don't have too much of, how do I call it, government support in terms of funding, because the government release very little funds.
Most times they don't get to court, and when they get to court, the cases end up getting bungled by the prosecution, because for you to prove rape, there are elements to it in the courts. And then you see no evidence. And when there's no evidence, the judge, even though everybody sees that it happened, will be compelled to free the perpetrator.
The survivors refuse to speak on camera, but they say fear of stigmatization, lack of support, and knowledge on how to go about reporting and prosecution of such cases are parts of the impediments. Participants say Nigerians need to come together and work in support of the survivors of sexual violence. Kazim Olowe, TVC News, Abeokuta.